So here's my argument. The Democrats and their media allies, believe it or not, absolutely hate the idea of the First Amendment. They love the idea of state control of media, and don't let them tell you otherwise. You know, it has to be a pure coincidence that all of these events that are happening all at once, the FBI arrests their own informant, who was the subject of a Form 1023, who the FBI used as a confidential informant for a decade, who told the feds that the Bidens were raking in millions of dollars in Ukraine while Joe Biden was vice president, that Catherine Herridge gets fired from CBS, and all of her notes and information about her sources in the Hunter Biden laptop story gets seized by executives. You may remember she left Fox News for CBS and dove headfirst right into the Hunter Biden laptop story as an investigative journalist.
Were you paid by CBS or anyone else to analyze the data?
No. I wouldn't want anyone to think that someone bought our opinion.
Around the corner, it'll lead you to what we call our imaging room.
Lanterman and his son, Sean, both digital forensic experts, recovered images of credit cards, a driver's license, social security number.
Just the sheer volume of what we're dealing with, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to fabricate.
And explained how files built up over years.
It accumulated over time, which is consistent with normal, everyday use of a computer.
There's some reporting about folders being added.
We have read these articles. We don't see that. So I believe that that's because we have a more pristine copy.
That's real independent, nonpartisan investigative journalism. Now she's out of a job and locked out of her computer and all her files. Do I really have to be the one to tell you that someone in the Biden administration is behind this? They want the names of the people that debunked the Russian disinformation claim, and they want them now. Headline, New York Post. CBS sparks outrage over firing of Catherine Herridge. Lone voice at network probing Hunter Biden laptop. Quote, the acclaimed CBS reporter who was investigating the Hunter Biden laptop scandal before she was fired last week had her personal files seized by the network in an unprecedented move, sources told the Post on Thursday. But Herridge's most recent assignment covering the Hunter Biden probe put her under a microscope at the left-leaning network, the Post has learned. It was well understood on Capitol Hill that Herridge was among the first to receive tips about the Hunter Biden investigation, but she ran into internal roadblocks at CBS, sources says. Critics ripped CBS for ousting Herridge when she is fighting for the rights of journalists, with one CBS News insider calling the decision tone deaf. You know, it's easy to point out there's not a single mention of this on the other networks like CNN or MSNBC. This has Biden's fingerprints all over it. You watch, Catherine Herridge will soon be in a courtroom and she'll be bankrupt. And the same people who are not reporting on this keep screaming that Trump's going to lock up journalists.
You have to show the darkness. I think that people truly don't understand what absolute power for Donald Trump will mean. Joe, and this is not a stretch, you could end up in jail. That's what dictators do. They take their political opponents and they put them in jail. We will no longer have a vote.
It's also shooting through daytime TV. Same goes to The View.
I'm going to be, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Who says it to you, tells you, I'm going to put you people away. I'm going to take all the journalists, I'm going to take all the gay folks, I'm going to move you all around and disappear you. If that's the country you want, you know who to vote for. If that's not the country you want, you have to make a decision.
Look, you shouldn't be surprised by any of this. These so-called defenders of democracy collectively shrugged their shoulders when Barack Obama did the same thing 11 years ago. Headline, Wired.com, May 13th, 2013. Headline, Obama administration secretly obtains phone records of AP journalists. The Department of Justice secretly obtained phone records for reporters and editors who worked for the Associated Press news agency, including records for the home phones and cell phones of individual journalists, apparently in an effort to uncover a leak. Quote, the records covering all of April and May 2012 were seized by the DOJ earlier this year and covered more than 20 separate phone lines. The records listed outgoing calls for both the work and personal phone numbers of individual reporters, as well as the general phone lines for AP bureaus in New York, Washington, and Hartford, Connecticut, and a main number used by AP reporters in the House of Representatives. The AP said it did not know if the records also included incoming calls and information about the duration of each call. The news agency also did not know how many journalists had used the Bureau phone lines during that period. So there's a history here. Remember, Democrat President Woodrow Wilson actually did throw journalists in jail, but don't expect people like Whoopi Goldberg to know that. These people hate the First Amendment, and I will tell you why very quickly. They don't want you arriving at your own worldview. These people are not here just to do the who, the what, the when, the why, and the how. These people want to control how you come to a conclusion. So they infest their journalism with activism. So you're supposed to come to their conclusion. They don't trust you to make up your own mind. And whenever they see something that does harm to the by and large Democrat agenda, they just say it's Russian disinformation. Trump was a Russian operative, Hunter Biden laptop, Russian disinformation, and now they're doing it all over again. Catherine Herridge has the names and the receipts, and they can't tolerate it. So they're going to destroy her. And that's my argument.